So I'm just going to get right into this. Antinatalism is futile. At least the species of antinatalism that says we shouldn't bring life into existence because to not exist is better or good. The thing about that is only experience is experienced. So imagine if you were never born. Which experiences or consciousnesses would be occurring if you were never born? Well, the only consciousnesses that would exist are the ones that are occurring, rather than you in a black void or something like that, or resting in peace. So the only experiences or consciousnesses that were occurring before you were born were the consciousnesses that existed at that point in time. Therefore, before you were born was preceded by experience, consciousness, because brains were doing consciousness at that point in time. There was a whole lot of experience and consciousness back then. And there is right now, and there will be after you die. After you die, you'll no longer exist, but brains will be doing consciousness after you cease to exist. Just like the last time you didn't exist was followed by a brain doing consciousness. That's all you are, is a brain doing consciousness after having not existed. So if you died right now, you wouldn't go into a black void and experience peaceful restfulness or a lack, or a kind of like an empty space or black void or something like that, or nothingness or eternal oblivion. No. The only experiences or conscious experiences that will be occurring after you die are the ones that are occurring, the ones that are being done by living brains. So after you die, it will be followed by one of the consciousnesses that is occurring. So imagine that you and everyone you know and everyone in the universe, all consciousnesses cease to exist. Everyone dies. Everyone in the universe. And then 10 million years later, or however long, eventually, at some point in time, a conscious organism comes to exist somewhere in the universe. So, after everyone's death, they wouldn't be in a black void experiencing no experience. That doesn't make any sense. They won't be enjoying their own non-existence. After they all died, the only experience that came after their death was that, in the scenario that I just explained, the only experience that comes after their death is that one and only consciousness of that new organism that came to exist 10 million years later. So that's the experience that came after their experiences ended. So if you were never born, instead of it being your experience right now, it'd simply be one of the other consciousnesses that are occurring. Only experience is experienced. So, experience cannot escape itself because it is always present for itself. As philosopher Tom Clark put it, consciousness is always present for itself. So, just like anytime you go unconscious, all you can remember are the times you are conscious. So, if you were to black out right now and go completely unconscious, and then wake up an hour from now, the period in between, from your perspective, would be skipped over. It would just, you would wake up in an hour, and the time in between, you wouldn't have experienced emptiness or a black void in between. You wouldn't have been in a black void, like counting down the minutes until an hour passed. So, only experience is experienced. So, let's say, back to the thought experiment, let's say that one and only conscious organism that comes after everyone died, so that's the only consciousness that's occurring at that point in time, so therefore it's the conscious experience that came after everyone's death. Let's say that organism is lonely or suffering for some reason, and if it had other consciousnesses or other organisms that are conscious with it, then that would actually make it better for it and the other consciousness, the other conscious organism, because they'd both at least have each other's company in that scenario. Whereas if it's, like I said, just the one by itself, that would be pretty, I don't know, maybe it'd be alright, who knows. But the point I want to make is that you cannot have an experience of no experience. You cannot experience your own non-existence. And so it cannot be good or better than existence. So after you die, or if you were never born, because there is still consciousness occurring in the universe somewhere, being done by other brains, then that would be, rather than it being your experience, it would be one of those consciousnesses instead of yours, because they would be occurring, you wouldn't exist, but they would. So, and this is completely compatible with a naturalistic or materialistic or atheistic worldview. Naturalistic atheism, I call it, or materialistic atheism. So, David Benatar is arguing for this, and this is a major flaw in his argument in his version of antinatalism, the moral or the anti-suffering angle that he approaches it. So, yeah, sure, we should be careful about our population growth, because of the carrying capacity of the earth. But yeah, as far as avoiding experience, that's, like I said, experience cannot escape itself. So, anyways, thank you for watching, and please share this with other antinatalists. This is a side of the argument that needs to be addressed. Thanks for watching.